a group of 13 civil society organizations are calling on international creditors to cancel significant portions of Ghana's external debt to make it sustainable. The group, including Tax Justice Coalition Ghana, Action Aid, Ghana Integrity Initiative, and 10 others, also want Ghana to be supported by G20 and UK, in particular to stay in default on all external creditors who refuse to accept the scale of debt cancellation needed. Ghana is the latest country that has defaulted on debt and sought debt restructuring since the COVID-19 pandemic began, shooting up food and energy prices. I'm still live here on Newsnight. I am now joined by a member of Tax Justice Coalition Ghana, Bernard Anaba, for a conversation on what exactly is happening. Now, why do you want the international creditors to cancel Ghana's external debt?
Right. Thank you, and good evening to your viewers. Yeah, so if you look at the amount of Ghana's debt, that is about 44% of the total debt. That's a huge portion. And if you look at the target at which in terms of the IMF target for moderately risk country, or what even the finance minister seek to achieve, of about 55% of debt to GDP and about 18% of government revenue to debt service. It means that if we can't cancel enough of our debt, we may not be able to achieve those targets. And especially, we are going to the IMF and seeking more loans. So we are going to get more loans upon loans. So the only way that we can achieve the kind of target that we've set ourselves is to seek debt cancellation. And that is why we are saying that we have even started defaulting on our debt service. We may have to remain in that default level until majority of the creditors come on board to discuss how we can move forward in terms of restructuring Ghana's debt in general.
But this is the only alternative left for Ghana.
Well, there are other alternatives, but this is the most that can actually give us the best debt restructure that can take us to the long term. Some of the other ways to do that, we've heard the Minister of Finance say that they are not actually looking at debt cancellation, but they are looking at debt reprofiling. And that could be just scratching the surface of the issue. You can go and debt reprofile, and what it means is that your interest rate and principal other thing will just be, be pushed into the future. And it doesn't mean that the debt overhang on the country will go away. It will still remain. After 2 or 3 years, we'll be back to the same level. So the only thing that we can do in terms of actually significantly reducing our debt level so that the country can be in a good footing to move forward is to cancel majority of the debt. And that is why we actually are calling for this. And especially we are saying this because most of these creditors actually, when they were borrowing to Ghana, it's a very high risk rate, saying that we are at the risk of default. That is why they made heavy profits on us. So it has materialized. So it's also time for them to share in the burden. And if you are in a business relationship with your creditor and you are in problem, it is good to discuss the way forward. And you need to be in business to be able to, pay your creditors and that thing. So the best way forward is for us to seek debt cancellation of majority of our debt so that we can return back to sustainable levels.
Great. And Bernard Anaba is a member of Tax Justice Coalition here in Ghana.